For joining us, new legal trouble for a former Northern Kentucky daycare worker and the company she worked for.
The 9 on Your Side I-team followed Ann Ogonek's case, and tonight we are showing you never-before-seen video that helped police arrest her. She pleaded guilty to misdemeanor child abuse. Now the I-team has learned that she and Rainbow Child Care are named as defendants in 3 lawsuits. I-team reporter Hillary Lake explains how often daycare abuse is reported and why those cases are so challenging for investigators.
At first glance, this daycare surveillance camera catches some toddlers trying to catch some Z's. But keep watching. You'll see what Detective Julie Marshauser described in a police report as a lead teacher repeatedly roughly and forcefully pushing a 14-month-old boy down on his mat. She covers his head with a blanket as he lay there upset and crying.
People might not always believe kids, and so it makes it very, very hard to work a case like this when, especially when you're dealing with very young kids who can't even talk yet.
Through a public records request, the 9 on Your Side I-team obtained the entire investigation file for the Edgewood police case into the teacher in the surveillance video, Ann Ogonek.
She is employed.
We first reported Ogonek's case at the end of 2016. Our investigation uncovered half of the 13 Rainbow Child Care locations in Northern Kentucky were also at risk of losing their state licenses at the time.
We don't want to have bad light shining on a center if in fact it didn't happen. But at the same time, when you have one bad employee, doesn't mean that the entire center is bad.
Detective Marshauser investigated the case against Ogonek, but says she can't specifically talk about it. It resulted in misdemeanor child abuse charges.
State of Ohio versus Laura Macias.
Last month, another former Rainbow Child Care employee also faced a judge. Laura Macias is charged in Clermont County for misdemeanor child endangerment.
Yes, Your Honor, we'd enter a not guilty plea.
She's accused of causing these red marks on a 5-year-old boy while he was in her care at the Rainbow Child Care location in Amelia. His mother provided these photos to the I-team.
But just how often is child abuse reported among all daycare centers in Northern Kentucky and Southwest Ohio? The I-team discovered neither state tracks it that way, so it's hard to tell. But both states offer websites where parents can search for annual inspection reports. Those sites are not searchable for abuse reports.
Anecdotally, Detective Marshauser says it's rare. Moira Weir, director of Hamilton County Juvenile and Family Services, agrees. So far this year,
we actually only had about 5 that we track. So, we don't really track it statewide, and it's hard to really say.
That's also because, according to federal data, child abuse overall is underreported. Cases that are reported are sometimes hard for police to pin down.
Why are these cases so challenging to investigate?
These cases aren't necessarily clear and cut. It's not that you have a very obvious crime that this happened, that happened, and here we go, let's make the charges. You have to kind of build a case, and when you don't have a victim who can necessarily communicate exactly everything that happened or even understand what happened to be able to communicate that, it takes a little while.
Ann Ogonek entered an Alford plea in her misdemeanor child abuse case involving the boy held under his blanket in October 2017, just under a year after her arrest. Judge Kenneth Easterling accepted the guilty plea, even though it allows Ogonek to claim her innocence and not admit to any wrongdoing. She's banned from ever working at a daycare again.
Just because it doesn't rise to a criminal level doesn't mean that all hope is lost. There's still some things that can be done.
Now, with the justice system behind her, Ogonek, Rainbow Child Care, and a second teacher who worked in the room with Ogonek are all named in 3 civil lawsuits. One of those is a federal suit filed by the family of the little boy in the surveillance video. The I-team also discovered a 4th family filed an insurance claim with Rainbow Child Care's insurance company for injuries they say their 2-year-old daughter got while in the care of Ogonek at the same Edgewood location. That claim was settled for $48,500. In all of those cases, parents spoke up, something Weir says all guardians should keep in mind.
If any parent is concerned about their child, I would say you do whatever you have to do to make sure your child's safe. So I would never want to get in the way of what a parent believes is the right thing to do for their child.
Detective Marshauser tells me parents should also remember the 10-4 rule. It means torso, ears, neck, 4 years and under.
When you have bruising in those areas, that's not common for children who are 4 years and under.
In the case of the boy under the blanket, Rainbow Child Care did notify his parents about the incident. His parents demanded to look at the surveillance video to see what happened with their own eyes. That video evidence made all the difference.
What better witness than a video that shows exactly what happened?
Macias and Ogonek were both fired. Court records show Rainbow Child Care and Ogonek deny all of the claims made against them in those civil lawsuits. Hillary Lake, 9 on your side.